Hello everyone, Julia here, hello from Sweden and welcome to a new video. Today I want to make something a bit different and show you my favorite stationery of 2021. I know that it's already February 2022, but I think it's still a good time to show some of favorite stationery that I used last year. There were actually quite a few new things that I discovered for myself, few new things that I started to use in 2021. And recently I've watched a few videos like this, like in the favorite stationery of 2021, and I will leave you a link to one particular video that inspired me to do a video like this, video from a channel called Jobs Journal. And as I said, last year actually was a year when I discovered a few things for myself and started to use some of the things for the first time. So I want to share that with you. I hope it will be interesting and inspiring for you. So let's get started. And I want to start from stamps. As you can see, I already prepared a few stamps that I want to show you. And in 2021, I started to use stamps more than earlier, and now I actually use them regularly. And in all of my journals, almost every day, I use some of the stamps, and I started to do that exactly last year when I got a display shelves or letterpress drawers, basically the wooden shelves for my stamps that I put on the walls and where I can display all my wooden stamps and see them. And that's actually was the time when I started to use my stamps regularly, because before that I had them in a box or even in a few boxes, and it was difficult to find something in those boxes, and usually I just was too lazy to search for some stamps. Even if I wanted to use something, I was just too lazy to take out the boxes and search something. But now I have all my stamps around me all the time in those display shelves, letterpress drawers. I see them every day and I want to use them. And it's easy to find something. I always see what I have there. And I have a few favorite stamps, and I like more wooden stamps. I'm not a huge fan of clear stamps. Sometimes I also use clear stamps, but not too often, and I like more this beautiful wooden stamps. And here are some of my favorite stamps. I can't choose one, it's just impossible. So I just want to show you some of the stamps that I use the most often. And first, that's this big stamp. I think you already saw it in some of my videos. This is the stamp with the French script that I use very often. This stamp is really great for a background, for collaging. And this one is one of my favorites, and I definitely want to get a few more stamps with a script, like this kind of stamps, bigger ones. And I also love this small stamps with different sentiments and quotes, and with this one in this kind of stamps. I have quite a few of this, which was different seasons, for example, and also something like a journal or paper sticker and stuff like that. I have a few sets of these stamps, and also these little stamps with sentiments and quotes I use very often. Another set of stamps that I use very often, almost every day, that's this coffee stains, and there are a few more stamps in this set. I show you just a few. But it's quite a big set, and there are a few more stamps. And these coffee stains I use really almost every day, and they are so versatile and fit to all kind of pages, all kind of collages, and just really great. That's the set that I use, I guess, the most often. And also this tiny stamp is one of the stamps that I use all the time. And of course, I also like stamps with animals. I have a few different sets, like with this bears. That's just one of the stamps, but it's a set with different bears and also this cute bunny, and there are a few more. So these are also the stamps that I like to use, not that often as script or those sentiments, but also quite often. And also this kind of stamps with numbers and also months. This I use very often in my bullet journal, and also these numbers, but not only in bullet journal. The numbers are also great for all kinds of journals, so I really love this set with numbers. And also the stamps with girls. I have a few of them, but I think this one is my favorite. This one is really great for travel journals. And also this cute stamps from Black Milk Project. I have quite a few of their stamps, and these are just beautiful. There are so many beautiful designs that they have with animals, like for example this cute bear, also with girls, and just so many beautiful designs. And the stamps are very good quality. And I even have a custom made stamp from them, which was with my name, kind of customized for me. This one I also really like. So these are just some of my favorite stamps. I think these are that I use the most often. So 2021 was a year of wooden stamps for me, definitely, and I really love those letterpress drawers, those display shelves, and I love to have these beautiful stamps around me and to see them every time when I'm in my crafting room. Then something else that I also started to use often last year, that's this different small notepads, note cards like this. For example, these are from Klasiki from Japan. That's also one of their notepads, and this one, and also something like this with different kinds of papers, and also some with illustrations, like with these girls from La Dolce Vita. And this I started to use often also last year. I kind of discovered them for myself for collaging, and they are really great for collages. These small papers. Usually these notepads are really big, so there are many pages inside, and it's enough for a long time, and they are also so versatile, and you can use them for different kind of pages in different journals. And I use this very often also in my bullet journal for decorating my weekly and monthly pages, and also for travel journal and for different collages. And these are just perfect for collages. So that's also something that I started to use last year. Next, I want to show you some of my favorite stickers, and I always loved stickers. I love stickers from childhood, and I always loved to use stickers in my notebooks and different journals. And I have really many stickers, like huge variety of different stickers and sticker sheets and sticker books. But something that I want to show you, and something that I started to use also very often last year, that's these different stickers with girls, and from few different artists. First, this La Dolce Vita stickers with girls. These are really great. There are so many different kinds of this. Some travel themed, and also just such a huge variety of different ones. I have a few sets of this. I really love to use them. And then also I have another big set from Pion stickers, also really huge variety of different girls. And also I have many of these cute tins with stickers from Windry, beautiful illustrations, like also really huge variety, different seasons, different themes, like for example this travel set I really love. And I started to use this last year very often. I love to use these girls in my bullet journal and also in my travel journal and for different collages in travelers notebooks and other kinds of journals. I really love these illustrations, and actually until spring last year I almost never used these stickers with girls, and in general I avoided to use people images, illustrations in my collages and for my journal pages. I don't know why, but I never really liked to use some images with people. I always liked more to use some nature illustrations. And I still love to use animals and birds and just some nature illustrations more in my journals, and I think you can notice that. But I also discovered these beautiful stickers with girls, and now I love to use this too. So I started to use some images and illustrations of people last year thanks to these beautiful stickers. And also I really love to use this washi stickers, this really thin stickers, like all possible kinds of them, with plants and animals and flowers. There are so many different ones of this washi stickers, and they are really great for collages, great for layering, because they are very thin and they don't make your pages too bulky and your collages too thick. So I really love to use these washi stickers for collages. I use them very often, and I started to use them more often and also last year in 2021 definitely. I used them also earlier, but I think not that often. And I just started to make more collages in 2021, and that was the time when I also started to use these washi stickers more often. So these were stickers. And now I also want to show you some of my favorite tapes. And washi tapes I of course used before 2021 quite often, but actually not that often. I also started to use washi tapes more definitely last year, but something that I never used until 2021, that's this PET tapes, like this kind of plastic clear tapes, and that's also something that I really love to use now. They are so great for collages. They are kind of same like washi stickers, very thin, and especially I like this kind of tapes, like with many elements to cut out, and they're also really huge. These rolls are really huge, and I think that's something that you can have kind of forever, and it will be enough for years and years. There are also tapes with these girls that I showed you as stickers, but also similar or the same images as the stickers, but as a PET tape, and also really big rolls, so this will be enough also for a very long time. So I have a few tapes like this with girls, and also quite a few tapes with flowers and butterflies and some nature illustrations, and I really love all of them. These are just some tapes that I have on my desk now. These are the tapes that I use now more often because it's already almost spring and I'm in the spring mood and I want to use more of the tapes with flowers and butterflies. But I have a few more of different tapes, and so as you can see, I also discovered something new about tapes, and I still like to use washi tapes, just regular washi tape, but this PET tapes, that was something completely new for me, something that I started to use just last year. The next thing that I want to show you is journals and notebooks, and first of all, that's traveler's notebooks. And I feel like everyone knows about traveler's notebooks and everyone is using traveler's notebooks already for many years, but I was always late for the party, and until spring 2021 I never had traveler's notebook myself, never used them. Of course, I heard about them and saw pictures on Instagram very often, and I kind of liked them, but somehow never tried them myself. And in 2021 I tried traveler's notebooks myself, and I love them. I really love them. I think now it's one of my favorite kinds of notebooks. I really like this system, this inserts that you can easily exchange when they are full, and like that there are so many different kinds of this inserts for traveler's notebooks, and that also that you easily can make them yourself and just use this cover. And I really love this leather covers. They're really so beautiful and so nice to use. I love to see how they are slowly aging and all those scratches and stuff like that, and it's really great. I actually like both sizes, the small passport size and also this regular size. And yeah, as you can see, I have more of this regular size. I think this one is more convenient for me personally, but I love both sizes and I use both sizes. And at the moment I use these notebooks in many different ways. Like, for example, this one is for collages. I have here now only one insert, and this one is a new one, and this one I use for collages, and then maybe I will add one more. This one is my planner. Here I have my bullet journal, like weekly and monthly, and that's actually also the first time that I'm using traveler's notebook as a bullet journal or planner. I really like that as well. And this one is a new travel journal. I have here a few pages about New Year trip, and this one is also mostly for collages. I have here this little insert with collages. There is another one, but this one is still empty. And also I have a few more other inserts for just different things like collages, and also just a few inserts just for some notes and stuff like that. And I really liked this system, that it's so convenient, and that you can exchange the inserts when they are full, and also you can easily adapt them for yourself, for your needs. And I'm really happy that I tried these notebooks, and at the moment I really love them and use them every day. And I still, of course, use my own journals that I make myself, and I also love to make journals myself. But this is also something great, and I'm really happy that I tried these notebooks in 2021. And speaking of journals, I also want to show you a few of my favorite journals of 2021, my journals that I made myself. And actually it was kind of difficult to choose which one is my favorite, and I couldn't choose one. I chose these two journals because these two journals are travel journals, and I really like this paper that I used for making them. Also, I love these journals because of the memories that I have inside. These two, as I said, are travel journals, and this one is very special because it's about my trip to Ukraine in autumn last year. All this journal is dedicated to the trip, and I showed the flip through of this journal and all the pages. So if you would like to see it, I will leave a link to that flip through, and also I have a flip through of this journal. But this journal is dedicated to that trip to Ukraine, and in autumn I went there after 2 years to visit my parents and friends, and I couldn't go there for 2 years because of current situation in the world, and finally this autumn I could do that, and it was really a special trip after such a long time to see my parents, to see my friends, to spend some time with them, and this journal is just filled with special memories for me. So that's the main reason why I love this journal, and it's exactly the same with this one, and this one is about my holiday in August when I went to Netherlands to visit a good friend of me. I also didn't see her for 2 years or almost 2 years, and then after that we went to Belgium to festival, also the first time in 2 years, and I love to go to festivals, and music is really important part of my life, and going to concerts and festivals is also very important for me, and I didn't go for any concerts and festivals for 2 years. Everything was cancelled, and this festival in August in Belgium was the first one in 2 years, and it also was very special. And of course also seeing my friends, that was the main reason why I went to Netherlands. So this journal is all about that trip, about Netherlands and Belgium and festival, and about meeting friends. It's also filled with very special memories, and that's why these two journals are my favorite journals from the last year. And as I said, I also like this paper that I used for making these journals, and I just like how they look. And speaking of paper, I will show you now a few of my favorite paper pads, and I think I can say that all my favorite papers that I used last year, it's mostly some papers from Stamperia. I really love this paper brand. I love their papers, almost all their collections. I have really many papers from them, and I used many different paper pads for making my journals. They have really beautiful forest collection, and I made a few journals using that paper. Also, I love this travel themed papers that they have. This, for example, this journal is the example how I used those papers. This lady here on the cover, and in general all these papers here, that's one of the earlier travel collections of them, like same as this one, but a bit earlier. This one is a new one. They also have this travel paper pad, like kind of Japanese style. Also the newer one, I still didn't use it, but I also want to use this for making travel journals. And in general, I just love their papers. So I think my favorite paper brand of 2021, and I think few previous years as well, that's definitely Stamperia, and that's the papers that I use most often for making my journals. And another paper brand that I discovered last year, that's Craft Consortium. I think they are from UK, and they have absolutely gorgeous and cute papers with animals, and they have really many nature themed papers. So that's why I really like this brand, and I I have a few smaller paper pads from them, like different collections, and I think this one is one of the latest collections, and I used some of these papers for making my latest. That's also one of the brands that I really love and that I discovered last year. Something else that I wanted to show you, it's a few useful tools, and one of this it's this thing which looks a bit scary maybe, but it's really nice and very useful tool. It's a crocodile from Via Memory Keepers, and I used this tool last year really often. I think I show this in my videos not very often, but I use this very often, especially when I make journals. It's really very useful and great tool, and it's like 2-in-1. It's for punching holes, and you can punch holes of 2 different sizes. This one is bigger one, like more standard, and also for smaller holes. This part is for fixing this eyelets. And especially when I started to make journals in the traveler's notebook style, also with the inserts that you can exchange. So usually then I punch a hole here in the cover using this and fix an eyelet there, 1 or 2 holes, depends from the size of the journal. And like that I also can make journals which are similar to this traveler's notebooks with a few inserts. It's definitely something that made my life easier. That's a very useful and nice tool. Also, I already showed you my favorite stamps, but I forgot about inks. That's also one of the very useful tools, and something that I used very often last year. That's this Versa Magic inks, like different colors. I have quite many of them already. That's just a few that I use most often. There are so many different colors, and like, for example, some standard colors like black, red, green, but also different beautiful colors. Like, for example, I really love this green tones, these two, and also this brownish inks. They're really beautiful. I think one of my favorite inks for stamping, that's this one, Espresso Truffle. That's something that I use regularly, and it looks almost like it's black, but it's not black, and also not really brown. It's hard to describe, but I really love this ink. Bought another one, and I also really love this white ink, this white cloud, especially since I started black and white journal. So this one is really great for stamping on black paper. Looks really beautiful. So that's the ink that I use the most often. Something else that I wanted to show you, that's that's old children's books, vintage children's books, and that's also something that I started to use more often last year. I think until last year I mostly used all books about nature, just with some nature illustrations, like animals, birds, illustrations, mushrooms, trees, plants, whatever, but mostly just some books about nature. But last year I also started to use more children's books, so also mostly about animals and nature. I just love animal illustrations in my journals. That's something that I started to use more often, and also to search for books like this more often in local secondhand shops or online, and started to use them more in my journals. And I'm kind of picky about children's books that I use. I use only nature illustrations, like animal illustrations, birds, something nature related. I don't really like to use illustrations with people from children's books. That's just not my thing. I love to use this kind of books, like something about animals. In the best case, something about animals or birds. And I think these illustrations are super cute and they look really nice in nature-themed collages and nature-themed journals. And sometimes I just scan the pages and use the scans of these illustrations. Sometimes I use original pages. It depends from a book. I have already quite a few children's books that I like to use in my journals. I just love these cute illustrations, but as I said about children's books, I'm kind of picky and I don't like all kind of illustrations. I like more this kind of realistic, more or less realistic illustrations like this, for example. I think something like this is really beautiful, but I don't like when those illustrations are too childish, or I even don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I think you know what I mean. So I definitely don't use all kinds of children's books in my journals, but there are some that I really love, like this ones, for example. These are just beautiful. And that's also something that I started to use more often last year, and also I started to search for books like this more often. And I will make a video about my vintage books and will show you a few books that I have, and maybe something like vintage books and where to find them, and will tell you how and where I search for this kind of books. So let me know if you would like to see a video like this, because sometimes I get questions about vintage books and where I search for them. So I thought that I can make a video about this. And the last thing that I want to show in this video is inks and fountain pens. And these two are my favorite ones. These are both from Esterbrook, and I love both of them, and these two are the pens that now I use most often for writing in all my journals, basically. Really love this two, and also really love these two inks. This red ink, also from Esterbrook, and this one, this golden brown ink I have in this pen. And this how the red ink looks, this one, and this is the brown ink. And now basically that's the two pens that I use almost every day. And there is another one with black ink, but actually I noticed that I use more often even this brown ink, even more often than black. So these two are my favorites at the moment, and I think that's for me also like with traveler's notebooks. I feel like everyone is already using these pens for many years, but I'm as always late to the party and just started to use fountain pens in 2021. I remember that for some time still when I was at school, I had one or two of these pens, not something like this, of course, just some kind of cheap fountain pens, and I liked to write with them, but the thing was that it was really difficult to find them in Ukraine. Hard to find ink for those pens, so I think after some short time I just quit to use them, and I just was using those regular ballpoint pens for a very long time. But last year I tried this and I just fell in love with these pens. It's just such an enjoyable process for me, so relaxing and nice. So that's also something that I kind of discovered last year and started to use last year, and that's definitely something that I enjoy to use at the moment. Yeah, so I think that's all. That was all favorite stationery of 2021 and some things that I discovered in 2021 and started to use last year more regularly, or even maybe for the first time. And as you can see, that's kind of many things that I started to use last year, and I'm really happy with all these things, and I still continue to use all these things that I showed you today. So I hope this video was interesting for you, and maybe you also found something new that you would like to try out. And let me know if you would like to see videos like this more often, maybe, where I'm showing you my favorite stationery or some new things that I recently discovered and started to use, maybe like new paper brands, or in general just some new things that I like at the moment, and that so let me know if you would like to see videos like this more often about my favorite stationery, maybe once in a while, like, I don't know, once in the season, or once in a half a year, or let me know if you have any suggestions. And thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next videos. Bye!